I'm here with my guy Dan Potts, who's on the watch along together. Dan, we've just seen Arsenal draw away to Everton. I've got to say, up front, it wasn't the greatest of games. But your initial thoughts?
Yeah, exactly that. I don't think we had anything up top, did we? Let's be real. I mean, we're looking now at the moment thinking that in the second half, potentially Saka and Martinelli could try and create something, and Odegaard could be the kind of creative spark that we've been lacking all season with his individual performances, and I'll come back to him in a bit, but I was disappointed. I actually thought we were better going forward in the first half with Sterling and Trossard, and I'm thinking, why is that? Like, what was all that about? So there were some problems. I think Everton, to be fair to them, I didn't expect them to set up any different. They're physical, the way they have their presence, they use their set pieces wisely, and David Moyes is David Moyes, man, and we sometimes struggle against them. Previously, when he was West Ham manager, we struggled, didn't we? So I expected it to be a tricky game today. What I think is more disappointing is not just the fact that we didn't create enough, is that we've gifted them a goal. Now, whether you believe that's a penalty or not, we've allowed them to make that decision, and we've allowed them back into the game. When it's 1-0, it's a good position to be in. At 1-1 or 0-0, it's difficult, and we found that, man. Yeah.
What's your take on the penalty? Because I've got to say, I thought that was a poor decision. And you know me, Dan. I'm not one for airing out referees. I tend to think that things balance themselves up over the course of a season. So I'm not one of those flat earth Arsenal fans who think that the referees are out to get Arsenal. That being said, though, I thought today that was a poor decision. What's your take on it?
I thought it was a soft decision. I think what Miles Lewis-Skelly has done is he's allowed the referee to make a decision. When you do that, don't rely on the referees, so they're going to get it wrong majority of the time, right? So I think when people say it's a disgrace or it's like absolutely blatantly not, I don't know that I can get on either side of it, or it's a disgrace or it blatantly is a penalty. I said it was a penalty when I watched it live because I felt like he went for the battle and he lost out on that battle, and then he just actually, in my opinion, probably made the foul outside the box, if anything. If it is a foul, I think it's outside the box. The referees giving it, VAR aren't going to get involved with that. They're not going to say it's clear or obvious error. They're going to go with the ref and side with the ref, which is what they've done. I'm not going to sit there and go on Lewis-Skelly though, because I've seen this now a few times where Lewis-Skelly at 18 years old is expected to be this pristine, disciplined kid. He's going to get things
He's not
wrong,
the finished article. You're absolutely
100% right. And defensively, have I questioned him at times? Yeah, absolutely. I've questioned him today. I've questioned him against Fulham where he got caught out. I questioned him when he got sent off against West Ham when he got caught out. He's going to get that, right? I still think potentially his future could be as a left 8 for Arsenal. Maybe it could be, right? But I'm not going to have a absolutely slate Miles Lewis-Skelly today. I will say, though, that I do think that when you look back at it, he has given the referee a decision by grabbing hold of him. Now, I'm not saying that Jack Harrison is not grabbing hold of him also, but I think when you've got a battle like that, you have to win it. You've either got to go, I'm losing it, so I've got to let go of him, or you've got to carry on and win it. And he ain't done either of those things, right? So that's why I thought, unfortunately, I understand why the referees had to make that decision. I didn't think it was a blatantly horrific one from the referee, but I certainly didn't think it was a blatant penalty and obvious for him to give. So I'm kind of a little bit with Turkish on this one, where I see that I've seen them given, seen them not given. But was that the reason that we didn't win the game? I mean, maybe you could say it affected it a bit because of how that allowed Everton to then set up again. But we didn't do enough in front of goal again, Laurie, did we?
No, you're right about that. We didn't do enough. The reason why I think it could be pivotal, though, is because prior to that and even after that, I couldn't really see Everton scoring. So them getting that penalty kind of gave them something to hold on to. And to be fair to them, they kept us out. In terms of Arsenal's performance, you're right. We wasn't great today. Do you think it had something to do with the obvious, which is that we got the game on Tuesday? There's players out there. Despite what they may say publicly, privately, they don't want to get injured, they don't want to overstretch. Do you think that impacted on the performance?
Yeah, maybe. And when I saw the team, I didn't expect it to be blisterating. I didn't expect it to be scintillating, if I'm honest with you. And not that I'm a hater.
Blisterating, that's a new one. I've not heard that.
Yeah, I meant to say.
I've not heard that one before, man.
Meant to say scintillating. Yeah, it's got the words.
You've got your own thesaurus going on.
Yeah, I have, man. Yeah.
No, but listen, we all know what you mean. Yeah, but it wasn't. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to put myself in the players' minds. And I'm thinking to myself, you've got a massive game on Tuesday and we've already been hit by several injuries.
Yeah.
That may affect the way you approach a game. Your mindset might be slightly...
But then again, when you make those changes, those players that are coming in have got a chance. So they've got to take it. So there might be minds of on Tuesday, but the majority of those guys will be thinking, well, I'm probably not going to get a game on Tuesday, but if I was to, I've got to perform in this one. Sterling, Jorginho, those type of players. Not that they were awful, by the way, but then that kind of brings you into that mindset of, Tuesday night, definitely one eye on it, no doubt today. Mikel Arteta has by the team selection. But I'm just disappointed. And this is what comes down to the squad building again for me. Because you look at it, when you make a few changes, it doesn't quite look great. Then you bring on the players that should be starting, and then it still doesn't look that great either. So there's a mix of that, right? So I think for me, there's worrying signs in every department, if I'm honest with you. I look at the defensive situation we've got. We'll come on to that, I'm sure. But there's issues there that are clear in terms of injuries. I don't think we've got the balance right still in midfield. I don't like Declan Rice in this position. I know some people like him in the 8. I'm not a fan of that. I think he's a 6. I look at his attributes and I think that his physical presence and his interceptions and his duel winning and off the ball, he is better as a 6. But I've been crying out for that for a while. I think we do miss Thomas Partey in that role, to be fair, and I think both of them as a double pivot could work for Arsenal. And I've got to be honest with you, Laurie, I'm worried about Martin Odegaard, bruv. I mean, he came on, he got his footing wrong, he fluffed his chance that he did have. Kieran Tierney,
it was that weird one where he kicked it against his standing leg.
Come on, man, you've got to do better than that, bruv. Kieran Tierney puts in a great ball to him. I thought he was good when he come on, by the way. Another brilliant cross. Marino probably should do better with the header as well. So there's a couple of chances there, and there's some great individual bits of skill. Again, Tierney, I mentioned Miles Lewis-Skelly going forward. We mentioned him defensively.
Yeah, he had that great run in the
really
second
good
half.
run, really positive and promising run. Odegaard's got to do better, but I look at him right now, and I've been one of the defenders of Martin Odegaard in terms of his technical ability on the ball. I think his performances, however, are letting him down. And I've mean 2 goals and 4 assists for a creative midfielder who apparently is still injured and not fit yet and still sick. I mean, come on, that was in November. We can't make those excuses anymore. This guy's got to take us forward. He's our leader, he's our captain. He's supposed to be the role model. Yes, you could lead by the press. I don't deny he doesn't work hard and chase the ball down. I need to see more of him on the ball, and I don't know if we're going to see that on Tuesday night because the performances at the moment ain't looking good for him, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I checked online. I was saying to Turkish, I checked online before I started doing the interviews, and there's 1 or 2 people suggesting that the manager should leave him out for that game, which is crazy when you think that he's a club captain.
He needs to step up, bruv. He needs to step up. I mean, look, he's not going to leave him out now because Ethan Nwaneri didn't even get a chance to show his positioning today, which I thought he could have interchanged a little bit. Yeah. I thought maybe Ethan, I know he got subbed, starting on the right call. Bring him into the middle. If Odegaard's not there, don't play Marino there. Play Ethan Nwaneri there. Let Marino stay up top and go Trossard and Sterling either side. And try and let Ethan have a little bit more opportunity because it wasn't going out wide to him enough. We weren't finding him enough. And then he got subbed. So I would have liked to have seen that. If you are going to drop Odegaard, he's the natural fit for that number 10 position. That isn't going to happen against Real Madrid. But he needs to step up, Martin Odegaard. He needs to step up. He's our leader. He's our captain. And games like that, at the Emirates, under the lights against Real Madrid, the guy that, player, he was there, he was there as a kid. Yeah. This is the sort of game I want to be seeing him at. So for me, Martin Odegaard has to step up as a captain of Arsenal right now.
Yeah. And a word for Jacob Kivior. I mean, in a game where there's not too many people that stood out, he was adjudicated to be man of the match. 2 questions. 1, do you agree with that? And 2, how do you think he shapes up against Real Madrid if selected? In fact, I'm going to ask you a supplementary to that. Would you start Kivior against Real Madrid?
So to answer the first part, I'm not sure that he deserved player of the match. I'm not going to sit there and say he didn't deserve it. I don't think there was anyone who outshone. Certainly not from an Arsenal perspective. Maybe in the Everton shirts there were some. I wouldn't say that Jacob Kivior was head and shoulders above everybody on the pitch today, but I'll happily take it. We didn't hear the audio, but I spoke to my dad and they said, Jacob Kivior's going to get player of the match. I think, hang on, no, he's under pressure here. Oh, okay, no, he's all right. We will give it to him. That was where they were at, right? So the audio showed that the commentary was like, we don't really know who to give it to.
Yeah, I must admit, for me, there was no obvious man of the match candidates. But listen, I'm not against giving it to him, but I would say that it didn't seem like he was outstanding.
I don't think he was, but who was?
Exactly.
Tuesday night, though, I wouldn't play him, which is
That's
mad.
Interesting because but yourself, so Robbie, Turkish, and now yourself, you've all said that despite Kivior having a decent game today and him being the left-sided centre-back, so you would imagine there's a little bit of a seamless transition there, that you would go for Kivior. But you're saying no, you would go for Ben White, even though, in my opinion, and I'll be interested to hear what you think, Ben White, for me, is still not at the levels that we know he can reach.
So, do I think Kivior will start? Yes, I think he will Tuesday. Would I? And I wouldn't. And I'll tell you why I wouldn't. Because I've seen Jacob Kivior for a few seasons now. And for me, he has made a lot of mistakes. And he's made a lot of mistakes when the pressure is on. we've seen Leroy Sané absolutely skin him. Right now, I appreciate he was at left back, but still he's going to be coming up against the best front three in world football, right? So that's one reason I wouldn't do it. The other reason is I've seen him get caught out against teams like Fulham, against teams like West Ham, against teams like Forest. I don't really want to be seeing him coming up against Real Madrid. The other thing I will say is this. As much as I appreciate Ben White and Timber aren't to full fitness, I've seen less mistakes in their games over the last 2 or 3 seasons than I have Jacob Kivior in big moments. I've seen Ben White come and lock down top wingers. I've seen Jurriën Timber give none of them a sniff. And I think if you're playing them together, although we haven't seen it in a back four yet, that would fill me with more confidence if Mbappe, Vinny, and of course Rodrigo are coming up against the likes of Jurriën Timber or Ben White. If it's a Kivior situation, I'm going to be struggling and nervous throughout most of the game. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to come and make mistakes. Saliba could make an error against these top three qualities. You need to look at who is quality individually and who is your better option. It's a bit like saying to me, Saka, do we start him or Ethan? Or we start Ethan because he's fit or Saka's not ready. We're not saying that, are we? So we can't say it for Ben White either. We can't say it for Timber. I think Timber and White, I'm not quite sure which way I'd like it. Personally, I'd probably go more with Timber at centre-back and White at right-back. Some would do it the other way round. Either way, I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to do that. I think he's going to go Saliba, Kivior, Timber at right back, and then Lewis Skelly at left back. And then we just roll the dice and see what happens against Real Madrid. Because if I'm honest with you, I'm not saying we've got nothing to lose because we've got a Champions League game. You're right, because we are going to lose potentially. But I don't know any fan, Arsenal fan, rival fan, that has the ultimate confidence that Arsenal are going to get through this tie easily. And, you know, I'm with Turkish. I kind of put it quite a low percentage of getting through the tie. Yeah. I think we could take something at the Emirates, maybe back to Bernabeu. Hopefully we can take a win or a draw. But I think to comfortably go through the draw, we need to win 2-0 on Tuesday to go to the Bernabeu and think we could actually get through this tie. And that's going to be tricky ask, man.
Yeah. And just that kind of leads me into my final question, which is going to be, okay, today wasn't exactly a dress rehearsal. But how do you think we shape up going in? Do you retain any confidence, or do you think we're very much up against it?
We're up against it, but do you know what? It's a cup competition, isn't it? So anything can happen. How do I think we'll go into it? I actually do believe that it will be quite a nervy sort of first 20 minutes for both sides, because I don't think Real Madrid are going to go out there flying out all the blocks. I think they're actually going to keep it quite calm. We've seen Carlo Ancelotti do a low block against Manchester City. I kind of think they might do similarly against us. I think at the Bernabeu, they're thinking, do you know what? Go to the Emirates, don't lose, and we'll beat him at the Bernabeu. That's their mindset from my opposition fans thinking. I would like us to get to around about the 60-minute mark if we are still in the game and it's not gone horribly wrong, for us to actually give it a right good go and try and take a win back to the Bernabeu. You don't want to be losing, but certainly you don't want to sit there and be so cautious that you're like, I actually need something here. So that's how I think we should set it up, man.
And just finally, is there anyone that's either played themselves in or played themselves out in terms of selection? You spoke about Ben White for Kivior. Is there anyone else that you're thinking that the manager may not necessarily have gone for, but you want to see him play in that game?
No, if I'm honest with you, I think the team pretty much pits itself in Arteta's eyes. I think Raya will be in goal. I think it will probably be Timber and Lewis Skelly at fullback with Saliba and Kivior. I think the midfield will be Partey, Rice and Odegaard, and I think it will be Martinelli, Saka and Marino up top. Any of those players that could play into it, you could mention Trossard because he scored today, and maybe he'll go with Marino's injury to his head, what that's going to be like. He might start Trossard now, but I think that would probably be the only one. I think that others are going to stay on the sub, to be honest, mate. So we'll see what happens, man. Roll the dice against Madrid.
That's all you can do. Okay, Dan, thanks very much.